guys, we're going to start doing some staining work. Like I said in the last video, I'm done with the bottom cabinets as far as sanding and prep goes, and this is part of the bottom cabinet, so I'm going to go ahead and stain this and finish it, and then I'll have to knock it to go on the bottom down there, and the toe kick will butt the edge. We're using a natural Minwax stain. It's a penetrating stain. I'm not using a gel or a polish aids. It's an actual penetrating oil-based stain. The dust is killing me, by the way. And I'm just going to rub it on. I'm just going to rub it on with paper towels and wipe it off. Because that's what you do when you're industrious. You just use paper towels and rub it in. Paper towels are cheaper than rags, aren't they? This is just, like I said, this is the side panel, so we're just going to soak up a little bit of the stain. This is a natural finish stain, so it's not going to be too dark. See, it makes it look like it's wet. And you can add as many coats as you like to give it the color that you want. Right now I'm rubbing against the green to get it out of the rag, and I'll rub back with the green. It's funny how that works. You rub against the grain, it pulls it out the rag. You rub it with the grain, and it doesn't come out. Alright. That's what a natural finish looks like. Brings out the color in the wood, basically. And I'm going to let this set and cure. We'll go ahead and hit these filler strips while we're at it. This is for a top, so it doesn't matter, but I'm going to put a little bit on it so that it can be drying. Alright, I'm going to hit these cabinet faces over here, and then do the doors and the drawers. We'll do them in sections, because if you do one side of the door, you have to let it dry, then you can do the other side of the door. It's easy working with natural stain. It just wipes on, looks wet, and eventually it'll dry in, be dull, and that's why you have to add that polish aid, no polyurethane to it. I don't use polish aids. Alright, I'll just fast forward through this so you don't have to be bored. Okay, I guess my battery died when I started on this cabinet here, and this is what the natural finish looks like, and that's without the finish on it. You can see it's just a slight difference. I don't know if we're going to go any darker with that or not. I'm going to leave it up to Debbie. If she likes it this way, this is what we're going to go with. If not, then we'll add another coat and see what it looks like. But anyway, I finished all the base cabinets, as you can see. This one's got a coat on it. And I started on the drawers. I did the back of this door. And over here, I did this drawer front, and this drawer front, and that filler piece right there. So those are, see how light that is compared to the drawer front? I guess it just depends on the piece of wood, because that drawer front is darker than that drawer front. So, and I didn't add any more to it, and that's the panel that I started with. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the rest of these doors the same way. I'm just going to wipe the stain on it, and we'll let it dry, and we'll see what it looks like once it's dry. And we'll be back then. Alright, we're going to move on to the polyurethane stage. I'm going to use Minwax fast drying polyurethane clear satin. I'm not sure what the sheen is going to be. I'm pretty sure that's what's on this piece of panel in here. This was one of the panels from the original cabinets. And they don't have much sheen. But we're going to start by doing the back of these doors and let them dry. And then we'll flip them over and do the fronts. I don't know if we get away with 2 coats, if we're going to, like this is the first coat. We'll do this one, and then hopefully it'll dry quick enough I can flip it over and do the front tonight, and then that'll be coat 1. It's the next day. I've actually finished putting a coat of poly on the front of the doors, and fixing to sand the bases of the cabinets and the drawers and put a second coat on them. This one I done earlier today. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It's got that low sheen to it. I don't know if you can see that in the light. And that's really nice. I'm starting to think I might not put more than 1 more coat. We'll see how the cabinet faces turn out. As far as I'm concerned, this panel is good. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but it had a really nice shine to it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit these with the sanding block. And maybe a green scrubby. We call it Scotch-Brite. And I'm just going to knock the edge off. When you run your hand across it, you can feel that roughness, like they're dirty. I'm going to knock that off. If you get done, you want to run your hand over the surface and make sure it's nice and smooth. If it meets the field test, then you're probably good enough. I'm going to go ahead and do the other few drawers like that, and then we'll start putting poly on. Oh, and I still got to do the doors. I got 4 doors. I got to do them all the way around. Lots of fun. Alright, I got everything sanded and wiped down. Just wanted to give you one word of advice. That when you're painting, or excuse me, polying the front of your doors or the back of your doors, make sure you don't get, like you paint the edge, make sure it doesn't run over and leave little drips. Because polyurethane's a pain to sand off until it fully cures, and it can take up to 30 days for it to fully cure. You have to do some scraping, let it dry, and then do some more sanding. So don't let yourself get drips. I'm going to start on the back of the doors tonight. I'm going to let that dry, then I'll do the front of the doors tomorrow, because I just put the coat on the front today and it's just dry enough for me to do what I'm doing now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the base cabinets with some poly and then let that dry for a few hours. I'm gonna flip it up and I'm gonna seal the bottoms like I was saying before. I'm gonna put poly on all the particle wood on the bottom where it be exposed to the elements, and that way they won't fall apart. So let me get to it. Okay, everything has a coat on it. I'm trying to get you down here so you can see the sheen. Everything has a coat. And I'm going to be happy with that. That's just right. It looks more manufactured, if you will, like you would buy at the store. This is the big door. These panels, I don't know what they're made out of, but they suck up the stain and they suck up the poly like you wouldn't believe. All the doors for the bottom cabinets done. These are the top cabinets. I haven't started on those yet. And that's one of the panels that I just done. And that's the other one. And it sucked up the poly, boy. I ain't kidding you. But anyway, that's the deal. The first coat is for protection. It has a coat, it's protected. Second coat is for shine and durability. And if you add a third coat, it's just a preference for shine. Doesn't really help much after that. So that's what I did. 2 coats. We'll see how they turn out. I've got to do the faces of the doors in the morning, and we'll probably start installing these base cabinets in the kitchen tomorrow. Okay, we're going to try this again. I keep having problems with my camera. I believe my memory card was going bad, so I popped the one out of my car camera. I already have the cabinets installed. This stuff here is, this door is off my old cabinets. So I just put it up here so I could put stuff on them, use them a little bit. I'm going to run a strip around the top of the cabinets right here. You know, kind of like this, to that way I can build up the countertops. Look like 2 layers, but it'll only be 1 because I'm just going to have the top, and then it's going to overhang about 1 inch. I'm also going to put some wedges in here and drill holes in it so that I can put screws through it, because old plastic things like that back there just don't hold up. I've been trying to show that space down there. I'm going to have kick boards down there to cover all that up, and you can see the gap right there. To go from the back there is level against the floor, and we go from there to this kind of gap. So from over there to over here, which is about 7-8 feet, we have a 5/8 inch drop. I had to raise this cabinet 5/8 of an inch to get it level. You can see the line there where it's level. Sorry about the lighting, it's nighttime. I've been fighting with this camera for about 4 hours trying to get it to work right. Anyway, this is the cabinet that goes between the refrigerator and the stove. The refrigerator's right there. You can see where the ice maker line is. That's not hooked up yet. We're going to hook it up tomorrow. The stove is right there, and I'm tripping over the receptacle for the stove. This is where the stove was, out in the middle of the floor. Anyway, we're going to move that over to there tomorrow. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the drawers and put the doors on. And Debbie says we should put the doors on where you open them this way. Okay, so we're going to do it that way. And of course that was just going to go back on the way it was. And so tomorrow we might run and go get the plywood for the top so we can start using the countertops. We're going to excuse me, we're going to use epoxy like we did for the table and the folding table that I did in previous videos. We're going to do something like that on the countertops with epoxy. We're just going to put 3/4 inch plywood, sand it down, and paint it, prime it with white paint, and then we'll use the epoxy like you see on all the other channels, the stone coat countertops, the Lagaria, stuff like that. And then I'm going to start on the top cabinets.